Hey everybody, welcome to my booth. I'm Jay. We got two samples here, one from Vinnie and one from Fernando, who have both been waiting very, very patiently. Thanks for your patience. And they're both non-English speaking samples, so unfortunately I'm a little limited in terms of the feedback I can give. But we're going to take a listen and provide feedback on audio quality and things like that. Let's dive right in. Okay, boom! So up first, we've got Vinnie here. And before we even take a listen, Vinnie, this is one of the reasons why I love Adobe Audition, particularly for the YouTubes, is we can see here that your levels are just a little bit quiet, which for raw audio, not necessarily the worst, though ideally we would want your peaks to be between -6 and -12 at least, if you're doing voiceover specific work. But in terms of where you can do in post, you can just get in the habit of normalizing things to -3 dB. And this is a good, healthy level for, auditions, audiobooks ask for things to be at -3 in general with other stipulations. So that's just a good habit to get into. Now, let's take a listen to some of this audio quality.
Sentada em seu bagunçado escritório, está a detetive Chloe, com pilhas de arquivos por toda a sua volta, e com sua mente inquieta em busca de soluções para o seu mais novo caso.
So already sounding really, really sharp, my friend. No real major issues that I can detect. There is a very, very slight amount of reverb happening in the background, or sound room reflections rather, where just at the end of your audio, we can hear just a little bit of the room coming in. That would be easily treatable by adding a little bit of sound blankets, or something like that. This is a test that I've explained to a lot of people. I may have explained it on this channel. I have explained it on this channel before. In one of my first ever videos way back when, almost 3 years ago. But in your recording space, you can use what I call the rubber ball test and the metal ball test. And this is a great way to help visualize how sound is behaving in your space. It's not an exact science, but it's a great way for, if you're not an acoustician, to just get an idea of how things are working. So we'll start with the rubber ball test. And what it is you stand in the middle of your space or wherever you're recording, whether that's in a booth like mine here, if you're in a larger space, a closet, your bedroom, wherever. Look around your space and imagine you're holding a bouncy rubber ball. Pardon me. And this rubber ball has the power to infinitely bounce. It's not going to break anything, but anything that it can bounce off of, it will. And it will continue to bounce off of things in that way until it effectively hits something that it no longer can bounce off of. So here in my booth, for example, this glass door, if I throw a rubber bouncy ball at it, it's going to bounce off of it. But if I throw it at these guys behind me, these soft, cushy, acoustic panels, the rubber ball's not going to bounce off of those. Or if it does, it's going to be very minimal. And so the way that the rubber ball is bouncing represents the way that sound will interact with objects in your space. So if you imagine standing in a concrete hallway, throwing the rubber bouncy ball, it's going to bounce around like crazy. But if you're in a booth like this that is entirely padded or mostly entirely padded with this acoustic paneling, the rubber ball's hardly going to bounce at all. So in your space, just look around and see if there are any areas where maybe you could prevent the rubber ball from bouncing a little bit. Maybe the corners could use a little bit more padding. And then the metal ball test, same exact test. Imagine standing in wherever your space is and then you have a metal ball and you can throw that at anything. And similar to the rubber ball, it'll bounce around without breaking anything in this imaginative exercise. But as you throw it at things, imagine it making the sound that it would make if it were metal interacting with whatever object you have. So, for example, if you're standing on a concrete floor and you drop a metal ball, it's going to sound pretty heavily. If you drop it on that same concrete floor, but you put, say, carpet over it, it's going to sound a little bit less. The metal ball will be less loud when it hits the concrete floor. And then if you add a thick carpet, even less. If you add on top of the thick carpet a pillow, the metal ball may not make a sound at all. And so what the metal ball test will do is help you to visualize the way that the material in your space will absorb sound. This is one of the things that's really helpful when you're looking at those like Amazon panels that you order for like, $3 a pop or whatever off of Amazon, and they're really thin foam. Those aren't going to do much with respect to the sound treatment, whereas things like these are 2 inches thick or like 1.5 inches thick squares that have these gaps in the middle, which allow sound waves to go in, bounce around, get absorbed by things, and deaden your space a lot more. So again, rubber ball test, metal ball test, great ways that perhaps you, Vinnie, could use to slightly improve your sound treatment just a little bit. But honestly, otherwise, I think that you've got a really solid setup going for yourself. I'll listen just a bit more and make sure that I'm not missing anything outright.
Som é ecoado pela sala. Uma chamada estava sendo recebida. Detetive Chloe aqui. Dê uma boa notícia, por favor, Steve. Eu não estou suportando encarar essas páginas.
Yeah, I think it's sounding really good, so keep it up. All right. Fernando, here we go. Let's take a quick listen and we'll break stuff down. Again, unfortunately, I am only proficient in English, but we'll see what we can see.
Atenção Eldorado e região. Vem aí o primeiro torneio beneficente Porto Morumbi. Dia 9 de março. Você não pode ficar de fora dessa jogada de craque. Mais informações, entre em contato pelo WhatsApp 67 99836 82.
Pausing really quickly, overall, I think you've done a pretty solid job producing this, and your audio quality sounds really, frankly, pretty solid. The compression levels on this are great. You're not overly compressed, but clearly because you're using that sort of classic announcery sound that we hear a lot of the time. Sometimes that can get overly compressed, and right now you can tell it's not. There was one instance just here, maybe, where I thought I maybe heard movement, but your recording setup sounds great as well.
Dia 9 de março. Você não pode ficar de fora dessa jogada de craque. Mais informações, entre em contato pelo WhatsApp 67 99.
Yeah. Right here, I hear in the background maybe like some shirt rustling going on or something like that, like you're moving a little bit.
998.
Right here.
998.
Let's loop it.
999.
So underneath your voice, you can just hear kind of, like this sort of background noise, which, I mean, I had to listen like 5 times to hear that. So it's not a huge thing, but just something to bear in mind. And for everybody else out there, making sure that you're staying still during your reads. I really wish that I was more...
991524628. Falar com Lucas Eduardo. Primeiro prêmio, R$2.300. Segundo prêmio, R$1.200. Terceiro prêmio, R$500.
Yeah. Overall, audio quality sounds great. The production on this sounds pretty solid. Again, you've produced it well, particularly for that sort of classic radio broadcast. Here we are. This is the thing that we're doing at this. Ba-da-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-ba. That announcery sound is great, and you're executing it really, really wonderfully here for my layman ears and inability to translate in my own mind, sadly. But Vinnie, Fernando, Really, really great work, both of you. Keep it up and keep us posted on how things go. I hope this was helpful for y'all out there. And for everybody else out there, I hope this is helpful for you. The rubber ball test, metal ball test, stalwarts whenever I'm out on the road and I need to set up a mobile recording space. And before we leave, if you like this stuff and you find it helpful and you wouldn't mind clicking the buttons, please do. It's really helpful. If you would like me to review your sample, there's a form in the description down below, and I'll see you in the next one of these. Be well, everybody, and I'll see you there. Toodles.